When are you gonna listen to me? But they didn't start 2 of their corners for like team violations or whatever, and they gave up like I think 300 passing yards or 260 passing yards in the first quarter to Oklahoma State. Yeah, 260 passing yards. That's more than what Derek Carr had tonight. Derek Carr had like 171. They gave up 260 passing yards in the first quarter to Texas. I mean, Texas gave up 260 passing yards without their 2 starting corners to Oklahoma State. And then there was like some shit that happened. And after the game was over between Tom Herman and Mike Gundy, Mr. Mullet wearing Mike Gundy. Yeah, it's nasty. Apparently, like, he keeps the mullet because at first he started like, oh, his kid was getting bad grades. Until his kid got better grades, he'd keep the mullet. So, I mean, I guess Mike Gundy's kid is fucking stupid because he still has the mullet. Just saying. But Mike Gundy said something really stupid after the game. But before I get to that, Emmanuel Acho, former All-American linebacker for Texas, he played there. He talked about the corners. He's like, how are you going to get benched and then play really bad the whole game? Like, that just looks bad on your part. Like, you can't do that. That's not Texas football. That's not the way. And the same dude got at him on Snapchat and Instagram, was like, sick of this fucking dude. Like, he wants to come up there and shake our hands on some, like, rah-rah type shit, but then you want to use your media job to shit on us. That's pretty much what he was just saying. And there was some bad blood. Like, they're like, yo, you banned from the facility. Don't come up here. No association, this, that, and the third. Like, don't come around us. You talking all that shit about us. And it was an interesting dynamic because I've been that alumni who's seen the team he played for turn to shit, and you're like, y'all are trash. What happened? Like, I remember when Londale lost to Hawthorne after I graduated. Hit up one of my homeboys. I was like, what's going on? Why are you guys so trash? And he just shook his head. He's like, dog, you have to ask him that. And it's true, because he was honestly the best player on the team. And him and another guy, and everybody else is trash. But that's just how it goes. That was just a talent standpoint. But this thing with Texas and Emmanuel Acho, he came on, College Football Live and talked about it. Like, it's my job as a journalist to not be biased. So, yeah, they got his ass, but he told the truth. Like, y'all were trash. It was gross. Okay. Next story.
Maryland?
Yeah. Honestly, I'll save the Mike Gundy one for next week.
I mean, you already kind of touched on it.
Nah, he said something really stupid. I don't have the time and the energy to really delve into it. But I'll save it for next week because I know he's going to say something even stupider next week. I fucking hate Mike Gundy.
You didn't hate him like a year ago,
I hated
2 years
him.
ago.
I hated him in the Des Bryant situation. I hated him when he ruined that one kid Bobby Reed's career. Go back and read that story. Number 14, black quarterback, like the highest rated recruit in Oklahoma State history. Went there. He did some dirty shit to him, and he ended up at Sam Houston State. You never heard from him again. So, yeah, fuck Mike Gundy. I got an issue with how he does some things, especially how he treats his players, and he's on some MAGA shit, too. But I said,
well, you might as well just address it now.
I'm going to talk about it next week because I have to unpack. It's a whole thing, and it speaks to the culture that he kind of has. But whatever.
Speaking of horrible cultures.
Maryland. Fear the Terrapin. We must protect this house. Yeah, that was the thing. When they're still sponsored by Under Armour, but we must protect this house. When like Vernon Davis and some other people were there, that was their shit. But clearly they didn't protect the house because the Maryland Board of Regents voted in favor of reinstating DJ Durkin this week, only for him to be fired a day later.
Which, if you haven't been following the story, basically there was a student who...
Jordan McNair, say his name.
Jordan McNair, who died of heat exhaustion in June.
And negligence.
And pretty much it's already been found. And the university's already said that they have responsibility for it.
The school president's going to step down and retire, but he's going to retire in June anyway.
Well, the whole thing with the school president is basically he said...
He's embarrassed.
Yeah, he was embarrassed. Basically what he said was... how can you not find this person at least somewhat responsible for it? And he said that you want me to reinstate him. And they said, yeah, you're going to reinstate him or you're the one who's going to have to be fired. And he said, you know what? Well, fuck it. I'll retire.
Yep.
And that's pretty much what he did. He's like, I'm not gonna stand for this. I'm not gonna let this happen. And
retiring in June.
I'm retiring in June.
And the regent on the board, James Davis or some shit like that, he immediately resigned after the decision was made. The head of the regent board. So there's that, but then there's another element. There was a fight the day DJ Durkin came back. By the way, the parents the whole time, they were constantly adamant and like formed coalitions and shit like that so that DJ Durkin wouldn't come back because they're like, he's a cancer to the program.
His dad basically said it was
Jordan
like somebody spit in his face after they already punched him in the stomach. So, yeah.
Like, how can you sit up here and reinstate and have this dude back? There are players on Instagram saying, we got to touch a logo and kiss a logo and a living tribute to our dead teammate, and this dude gets to come back and no one's punished for it. It's disrespectful. That was one of the comments made after I think they beat Illinois like 63-30.
Fuck Will Kane.
It's always fuck Will Kane. And fuck his mom for having him. But anyway. And his dad for even meeting his mom. But anyway.
But basically the reason why I said Will Kane is because, you know, he was talking about it on First Take earlier. And his whole point was, and I get some of it, what he was saying is he's not cool with it because they weren't going to fire him, and which they did fire him a day after reinstating him. They weren't going to fire him, but they fired him because of public reaction instead of firing him because they felt that he was responsible, or firing him because, well, he was like 5-7 and 6-5 the past 2 seasons, and this team is like only has 3 losses without him and is essentially better without him. They were like, yeah, you could have fired him off of all that, but you didn't, and then you just fired off of him because everyone told you to, which is weak and corny, which I get, but at the same time, Will Kane, just shut the fuck up.
Because you're a trash human being, and you said some really racist shit in the past, and yeah, we're not gonna.
Yeah, man. If you like Will Kane, you probably don't like this show anyway. So,
and if that's the case, I kind of hope you wake up and sprain your ankle. But anyway, in addition to that, there was another conundrum. The same day Durkin came back to practice, there was a fight. A backup punter was beaten up, had footballs thrown at him by teammates who were actually in support of Durkin. They felt like, in the story from the Baltimore Sun, they did a great job of reporting on it. They have like 5 different stories. But this one, where backup punter gets into a fight, and they essentially, like, I guess one of the starting punter and a bunch of other teammates who supported Durkin start beating on him. He gets punched in the eye. He has a black eye. They start holding him back, and then they just start jumping him. Like, a bunch of guys put his hands behind his back and then let the punter, the other guy, just punch him in the face repeatedly. They pretty much jumped him, beat the shit out of him, dislocated his shoulder. I would, honestly, if I was him and his family, aside from snuffing somebody, snuffing everyone involved, even if I got to come back on senior day in front of your family, I'm snuffing you. You don't get to live long after doing that to me. But anyway, that's a side note. Aside from suing the whole fucking school, like, they wouldn't have a program if you did that to me. But anyway, he says that, you know, he was a whistleblower, essentially, for the Durkin situation, talking about things that happened that went into certain reports, things that happened off the field in the program, and a lot of people on the team apparently blamed him for it. But the backlash on social media is that a bunch of his teammates come out saying that's a bold-faced lie, that's not what happened. The other side of the story is saying that the backup punter was picking on a bunch of underclassmen, so they stepped in and they beat his ass. But that, if you know anything about gang mentality or just being on a football team where one person isn't really liked for telling the truth, or vice versa, whatever the roles may be, that group mentality, 9 times out of 10 is usually wrong. but we don't know.
Or lying.
Or lying, because like all those people are saying that he was bullying a bunch of people. So it took all y'all to whoop his ass and give him a black eye and a dislocated shoulder. And let's not forget, he's the backup punter. The backup punter got a black eye and a dislocated shoulder, and some of the players who were pro DJ Durkin coming back all of a sudden had free range. They felt like they had free range to heckle and taunt this kid. I'm just saying, how many schools is the backup punter getting his ass beat? Is the backup punter at Ohio State getting his ass beat? Is the backup receiver getting his ass beat at Ohio State?
That's a whole nother wormhole because we have Urban Meyer's that damn baby.
He swear he's not going to retire.
He's that damn. Come back. He's already setting it up. He's that damn baby that cries so much.
Former USC coach. He's going to be next to USC head coach.
The next ex-USC coach.
Or Les Miles. USC should just not bring USC guys who have ties to USC.
Yeah, but Urban Meyer's that kid that cries so hard until they start like throwing up, and then they just like keep throwing up. Yeah, and then they actually start throwing up, and it's like
then they shit themselves.
And then you're just mad at them even more because they're crying and bawling, and they shit or threw up on themselves.
And then they're like, I'm sorry. Like, you're so fucking pathetic in this moment that I have to take mercy on you just to be a good human being. But what you still did was wrong.
Like retiring from Florida and then coming back to Ohio State 6 months later.
And then Ohio State having a bunch of... by the way, shout out to Breontae Dunn, former Ohio State running back, was acquitted and proven that the rape charges against him were totally fucking false. But his life's ruined, his NFL dreams were ruined, and his college eligibility was worn out. So he can't go to college, he can't go to the pros. His life was ruined behind a false rape charge. So, yeah.
All right, man.
Former Ohio State running back. Look up Breontae.
Is that good for college football? Because we don't have a lot of time. Even though I hate keeping time on a podcast.
Yeah, pretty much that's some wild shit. Like,
yeah, college football is crazy.
Maryland, that's some wild shit. After USC got pretty much beat up, who'd they lose to again this week? They lost to Utah. They lost again this week. It looks like Clay Helton's probably going to get fired at the end of the year. But whatever. And UCLA's uber trash.
All right, so let's make this one quick.
Washington State's ranked 8th in the country, by the way. USC beat them early in the season because Washington State beat Oregon.
All right, man. So let's do touchdown or turnover. Make it quick. So teams like the Oakland Raiders are getting partnerships with casinos, but besides all that, it's a big time for Vegas. They actually just had their biggest month of all time. September, I don't have the figures in front of me, but basically millions of people betted millions of dollars, and it was the highest millions that have ever exchanged in a Vegas book. And that's with other states like New Jersey, New Mexico opening up sports books for the first time ever. Essentially, didn't matter for Vegas. Competition's still hot. NFL started up, and September was a big month. So, is Vegas having a big month during the NFL? Is that a touchdown or a turnover?
Anything involving Vegas is a touchdown because the house always wins.
Well, man, it depends on who you're looking at it from.
Bro, they're from whoever is owning that fucking land that's being built right now. That's who's winning, the developers. And everybody who runs the sports
shout out
books.
To my uncle. But yeah, besides all that,
you
I think it's a turnover because the conflict of interest. Because here we are, this whole league.
Did you just say conflict of interest?
Yeah.
Where's my sound effect?
All these.
I need my plot twist sound effect. The far right corner at the top. Far right corner at the top. That one. That's the plot twist. Conflict of interest?
The point is, there's a conflict of interest because the NFL and the NBA and all these leagues have been ducking betting, legalized betting, and now they're probably going to find a way to make some money off of it because guess what? Vegas is already making a tons of money, and I don't like the notion of that only because we got refs getting fired in mid-season because they're making bad calls, and who knows what else they're doing. So, yeah. Next one up, T.O., your boy, Terrell Owens, was on, I think he was on some sport legacy or mainstream